Okay. All right. Whenever you guys are ready, go ahead with questions.
Excuse me.
Got the time to digest kind of the tape from PC. Just what are your sort of initial takeaways after being able to review the film and apply that in practice?
Pleased with our guys. I thought our ability to sustain. We built a lead, and I think human nature, you're going to relax, and I don't think we did that. And I think the thing with this team right now is just we have depth. I don't know that we have 5 guys that have separated themselves as clear starters or guys that are going to play 30 minutes or anything like that, because I think we have a lot of guys that consistently practice well. And, both in the closed scrimmage and in the scrimmage against or the exhibition against Presbyterian, we had a lot of different guys play well. We've had 9 or 10 guys make threes in games. And so I think that's the strength of our team. And in the PC game in particular, I just think our guys did a really good job of not playing the scoreboard, but just playing the next play.
Coach, you're the longest tenured coach in the ACC. I'm just curious, your competitive stamina to keep going after all these years. What's kind of your drive moving forward as you continue to coach?
Yeah, just be better. Talked about trying to take this program to a Final Four. Obviously, we've been close, but there's a drive to be successful that, I think the competitive part of you is, that certainly eats at you. I'm certainly proud of our consistency and feel grateful to be the coach here after all these years. I'm also just thoroughly enjoy my players and staff, and I've talked about just being on a team. I think that's one of the things that you're going to miss when you get out of it is you've been on a team since you're 6 years old, and at some point you're not going to be on a team anymore, and that's going to be hard. So coming into the office every day and having a purpose and trying to help young people achieve their goals, getting to know different guys. This year's been fun from that standpoint. Is the major roster turnover is giving us the opportunity as a staff to build strong relationships with a whole different group of guys and hear their stories, learn what they're what's important to them. We've got plenty of young guys, but we also have some guys that this is their last stop, and so you're trying to do everything in your power to make sure they have a good last season.
Talk about that new roster turnover and just kind of the newness of it all.
Mm-hmm.
How important are those first few games to kind of maybe see what that rotation potentially could look like down the road?
Yeah, I think just there's a lot of things you're trying to see, who plays well with whom, and the things we've been practicing, how well do we execute those, and philosophically what our thoughts are in terms of the right way to play. Does it fit this team? Those are all things that you're watching and looking to see that you're putting your players in a position to be successful, and that's your job. Your job is to find the right way to help guys be successful on the court, and so some of that is the system, and so just we're playing a couple different ways and trying to do that because we do think some of our lineups are a little bit different, and we've done that some in the past as well, but I'm anxious to see what it looks like as we, the month of November will give us a lot of intel because we play 8 games, I think, in the month of November. So, by the end of the month, we should know a lot about our team.
I guess obviously you talked about Chase being a little bit further ahead
Mm-hmm.
and freshman physically developed. Like, how much do you force the issue in terms of that being key rotation pieces, or can you have?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have to earn it. I mean, Zach and Chase, I think, have done very well, and we talked about how they've come in physically more ready than a lot of the freshmen or some of the freshmen in the past. But at the end of the day, they have to earn their playing time, whether that's practice, making good plays, decisions, knowing what to do, competing at a high level. This is about production. But they've been able to do that so far, so I don't see any reason why they won't play a lot. They've been very productive in practice. There's still things they need to learn. They're making plenty of mistakes, but it's all mistakes that we can correct And they're certainly good enough players that they're making some very productive plays as well that are helping our team. So I think they're ahead of schedule compared to most guys.
Coach, kind of speaking on that new look team, what's something that you value as underrated that maybe not a lot of people know about that you're excited to show to everybody?
I just think our depth, as much as anything. We've played an exhibition and a scrimmage. I don't know the most minutes anybody's played, 23, 24. And I know we've played 11 guys double-figure minutes in both games. And the guys have been productive. They've gotten things done to prove that they deserve to be out there. And so that part's different. The person at the table is going to be busy. There's going to be a lot of substituting and different lineups. And, that's, I think it's fun in a lot of ways for our fans because you're going to get to see what guys can really do. And I think it's a fun way to play.
It's just an issue in basketball at large, the G League situation where I think coaches have talked about it.
Yeah.
Others. How do you feel about taking guys who?
It's weird. I haven't even listened to Coach Izzo's comments. I think I know where they are. I think it's, I see why they're doing it because I think a lot of the foreign players have played professionally in some way. And so now they view it as a similar situation and the part that I'm really struggling with, though, is we're just taking away from high school recruiting with all of this. 21-year-old international freshmen. Now we're going to have 21-year-old G League. Maybe they're not freshmen because they're usually losing a year or something. They're sophomores or juniors. Those are all opportunities that are not going to high school players. And it does feel different when you're playing, and it has felt different the last couple of years playing with 23-year-olds and 24-year-olds, and we've been the benefit of that with somebody like Chase. It makes it hard to play with 18-year-olds unless your 18-year-olds are, probably one and dones. And so that part of it bothers me a little bit. I don't love that part of it. But I understand, I think, why the NCAA's kind of allowing it. We've kind of opened that door with the international situation, and now this is the next step. Everybody's pushing every boundary that they possibly can. This is the next one.
Do you as a coach feel the need to stay up?
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do to be competitive. So it's something we'll look at, certainly.
None of us saw or know anything about the scrimmage you had Saturday. What were your general feelings about how you guys played over the weekend?
Yeah, I thought we played well, fouled too much in the second half especially, played with good pace and shared the ball again and made a bunch of threes, which was good. I thought we got better defensively the longer the game went. But I was pleased. It was good to go on the road and just spend a weekend together and kind of go through what it's going to be like. It wasn't a true game. There wasn't a crowd or anything like that. But everything else was the same. We played it like a game, and I thought our guys' approach was good. I thought we were ready to compete, and I thought we showed some improvement from the Presbyterian scrimmage, so that was good for us too.
I thought your defense was really good against Presbyterian. You felt the same way?
Similar. It wasn't quite as good. College of Charleston made some good shots. They made some tough shots. A couple of late shot clock threes in our face, where we guarded well for 25 seconds. And thankfully some of those didn't go in the second half. But it was a good experience for us. It was good. They were good competition. they play hard and physical, and that was good for us to go against something like that. They had size. Obviously, Christian was down there, and so it was good for our team to play against those kinds of good, talented team.
When you look at the different posts you have, I mean, Nick and Carter, do they have strengths and weaknesses, each of them? Like, how are they different, or are they pretty?
Yeah, no, they're all different, but Carter and Nick are both guys that are more consistent shooters from the perimeter than maybe an RJ. RJ's obviously a little quicker. I think RJ's quickness around the basket, his strength around the basket is fantastic. I think Nick is probably the best passer of the three. Carter just keeps getting better as he, gets more reps with us. He obviously missed the summer, but I think he's really coming on here in the last couple of weeks. He just feels more comfortable. I think he's getting a better feel for what we're doing, and then naturally his instincts, kind of just take over as he gets to the right spot. But he can do a little bit behind the, back to the basket. He can make a top of the key three. Passing is improving as he's, again, getting used to our system. I think that's a real strength of our team is those three guys. And then, Trent Steinauer's been hurt with a pretty badly sprained ankle the last couple weeks, and so he's missed out, which is unfortunate. But he's, very competitive, works and plays really hard. And then Chase Thompson is kind of a versatile forward that can do a bunch of different things.
Do you think Trent is a redshirt this season?
I don't. Right now, not yet. I think we'll redshirt Blake Davidson, but Trent, I think we feel like we probably need his body. Just you never know he's obviously the fourth post behind those guys, but there's certainly going to be opportunities that foul trouble or injury where he could be called to duty, and he's done some things to be productive in practice enough that he could play a few minutes here or there for sure.
In the ACC preseason poll, you guys are putting 7th. Do you feel like that's kind of fair?
No idea. I mean, don't really worry about preseason polls. Never have. I think most of the time there's a lot of things that are wrong. I think we have a chance to have a good team this year. How good, I don't know. I don't really know, all the talent in all the other teams. There's a lot of roster change. I do think our league is better. I think some of that you can tell just from portal spending, that probably a little more talent and some programs that spent a lot more money than they have been. And I just think that, I'm hopeful that our team will be a team that improves throughout the year, that because we have a bunch of new guys and we have a lot of young players, that as they gain experience and we just keep playing games and that we really learn and grow. And, the key for this team will just try to be getting to March play meaningful games in March, with a chance to advance. I think that's an important step for this team. But like I said, we'll know a lot after November.
As part of that mystery, again, like some of these European guys you were talking about, I think Virginia has like a couple of them. Louisville has one from Greece.
Sure.
Is that going to be interesting to kind of watch?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are very talented, and have played high-level basketball against high-level competition at a young age, and it's funny. Even Victor, when we started to recruit Victor, he left home at 15, right? So those guys, they're making a life choice at a very young age, and basketball becomes their way to, a better life. And so it becomes pretty important, and it's very competitive. And a lot of those guys have, they've been in real life basketball experiences, whereas some of our guys have just been in, regular high schools. and it's different. And but I think that's part of why some of our guys, like Chase Thompson, who's played a lot of football throughout his life, one of our thoughts was when we recruited him was like, here's a guy who we think has good talent and ability and great kid and worker, and when he just starts working on basketball only, man, how much can he improve, and a guy like Trent Steinauer, that just went to a regular public high school and kind of been a late bloomer. Think there's real growth potential for him. So, but I think some of the European guys are probably further along in some things in terms of just overall basketball IQ and what they've been exposed to at a younger age.
Dylan mentioned that you guys were able to shoot the three ball similarly to how you did last season. Do you kind of agree with that assessment? I
hope so. I think that's one of the telltale signs now in basketball is you better have some shooting. Chase Hunter had a phenomenal year shooting the basketball. I mean, he made, I don't know how many threes he ended up with, but his development as a three-point shooter really remarkable when you think back to him as a freshman. And then what he turned out to be last year, making 40% threes, and I mean, he's making NBA threes all over the place, and obviously how much that then opened things up for Ian, and Victor's development from three I thought was really important to last year's team, and he had several games, especially at home, where he made big threes that helped us beat some really good teams. And so I think that's going to be a big part of, our success, like a lot of teams, is how well do you shoot it from the three-point line consistently.
So you foresee having a part of your offense, a big guy shooting threes like
Yeah,
Victor did?
Sure, absolutely. Yep.
Defensively, coach, it just seems to look more athletic maybe than you had.
I think we're a little faster, and we're definitely not playing. Last year we were playing Chase Hunter and Jaden Zachary 34 minutes most nights because they were just so much better. I mean, they were elite players. I think we're closer together in ability level, and so it's hard to play that many minutes and consistently play with tremendous effort. I think this year the minutes will come down on the top end guys and go up on the bottom end guys, and we'll still get that effort. But I think I do think we have a chance to have some speed. I think we have multiple guys that can guard the ball, especially in the full court. Whether it's Ace and Zach and Dylan and JP, I mean, we've got multiple guys that can pick the ball up full court and work the ball. And Jaden Zachary kind of bullied it himself a little bit with Dell Jones. Chase didn't do as much of that. Part of that was our design so that he could score. But I do think that that's going to be a little bit of a different. We've had a couple teams in the past. 21 team was like that. My first team was like that, where we played multiple guys and picked up full court more often. Rod Hall was one of those kind of guys, and so some years with Rod we did it. And I think that'll be part of what this year's team needs to do to be successful.
I guess how much of a mix do you see it being a point guard behind Dylan, who's the number two guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have multiple guys. Zach Foster can play 1, 2. He can play a lot of different positions. Ace Buckner, I think, can play 1 or 2. Dylan can play. Dylan's played 1. He's played 2. Last year he played 3. I think the perimeter stuff, for the most part, we can move it around to different guys. Basketball's changing a little, and that you're seeing teams play without as just a pure point guard all the time. Big guys are handling the ball more. Multiple guys can handle the ball and bust out on the dribble, and so we've got plenty of guys that can dribble the ball and make those kind of plays.
You guys were saying that Ace Buckner are starting to call him Greg, just because he's like.
I haven't heard that, but I hope he's like his dad. His dad was a hell of a player. He's competitive like his dad. he might be the most competitive guy on our team. He's as competitive as anybody day to day. Now he's young and eager, and sometimes we're trying to get him to slow down and play at the speed limit. He's always pushing the tempo, but it's a lot easier to get guys to slow down than get faster. And so he's a very competitive person. He's very eager because he was here all last year and didn't get to play. And so he's trained all spring, all summer, and he's just excited. And I think that's one of the fun things is watching guys who are just so eager for this new journey. And I think he's a guy that will really improve throughout the year, and I think he'll have a very bright Clemson future.
We got time for one or two.
I was just going to say, it looks defensively he has the same kind of effort that his father had.
Yeah.
Maybe a little risky now and then.
Yeah. I mean, he's just young right now, right? Like, you got to make sure that you don't always play hard. You got to play smart too now. It's both to be good, and so he's learning that. But again, he brings competitive spirit, energy to your team, toughness to your team, just like his father. No surprise there. Will to win, which is really good, very strong. Again, another one of our young players that I'm very pleased with and excited about.
Talking to Dylan, he mentioned about how the team is talking about making it back to the NCAA tournament every day. He said, how do you kind of balance the expectation of that with staying focused one game at a time?
Yeah, I think that's just all talk. Like, I think you ask any kid, that's what they're going to say in these situations, and you probably ask any coach, and they're going to say something else. We don't need to worry about any of that. We're not even close to that. We just need to, get better. We just need to get better every day. We have a motto around here, daily work, and it's put all you got into today, be consistent in your approach. I think that's really important. I don't think very many people are very consistent in their approach. I don't think people work hard every day very often. And so, mastering the details so that your mental approach is as strong as your physical is really important. Young players have a hard time with that. It's hard for them to sustain mental focus and concentration. And so we've got a lot that we have to get better at in those areas. But having said that, like I talked about, the ultimate goal is we need to play important games in late February and March. And if we're playing important games then we'll be having a chance to play for a tournament bid, and that would be awesome. But in the near future, we just need to get ready for New Hampshire and the game or two right here in front of us. All good? Okay. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you coming.